channel. Tonight, we're diving deep into a story that's been making the rounds online, a story that blurs the line between a prank and something genuinely terrifying. It starts simply enough with a user who we'll call Alex. Alex was home alone one evening, unwinding after a long week. The house was quiet, filled only with the familiar, comforting hum of everyday life. The low drone of the refrigerator, the gentle whir of the air conditioning unit, the steady tick-tock of the grandfather clock in the hall. These were the sounds of home, the sounds of safety. Alex was on the phone with a friend, laughing and catching up. Conversation was light, just casual chatter about their day. One point, Alex's friend asked what they were up to. Alex casually replied, "Oh, nothing much, just enjoying the peace and quiet. I'm home alone tonight." It was a simple throwaway comment, kind we've all made 1,000 times without a second thought. But in that moment, something shifted. Something was about to break the peace in the most unsettling way possible. Immediately after those words left Alex's mouth, "I am home alone," the world went silent. Just quiet, but a deep, profound, unnatural silence. The refrigerator's hum ceased. The air conditioner fell still. The grandfather clock's rhythmic ticking stopped dead. Every single ambient sound that had filled the house just moments before was gone. It was a sudden, jarring void of noise, so absolute it was almost deafening. It was the kind of silence that makes the hair on your arm stand up, the kind that signals something is deeply wrong. Alex froze, phone still pressed to their ear. Their friend on the other end was asking if everything was okay, their voice sounding distant and tinny in the oppressive silence. Alex couldn't answer. Their breath caught in their throat and their heart began to pound against their ribs like a drum. Familiar comfort of their home had evaporated, replaced by a thick, suffocating blanket of dread. Every nerve was on high alert, straining to hear, to understand what had just happened. Why had everything stopped all at once? Was it a power outage? No, the lights were still on. And then it came. From the darkness of the ceiling directly above, a voice whispered. It was soft, raspy, and filled with a chilling intimacy, as if spoken right beside their ear. It was a sound that didn't belong, a sound that violated the very sanctity of their home. The voice was low, barely audible, but the words it spoke were crystal clear, slicing through the silence and piercing straight through Alex's soul. It said, "Not anymore," just 2 words, but they shattered Alex's reality. Not anymore. The implication was immediate, undeniable, and utterly terrifying. Alex was not alone. The silence that had fallen over the house wasn't an accident, it was intentional. It was as if something had been listening, waiting for that exact moment, for that specific declaration of solitude to make its presence known. The friendly, safe space of home had transformed into a cage, and Alex was trapped inside with something. Panic surged through Alex. Primal, cold terror that rooted them to the spot. They slowly, shakily lowered the phone, their friends' concerned questions fading into insignificance. Their eyes darted around the dimly lit room, searching the shadows, the corners, the empty spaces that now felt menacingly full. Who said that? Where did it come from? Was it a person, or something else entirely? The rational part of Alex's brain was screaming, trying to find a logical explanation or prank. A hidden speaker, an auditory hallucination brought on by stress. But the fear was too powerful. The sheer malevolence in that whisper felt too real. The voice hadn't been loud or booming. It was worse. It was a conspiratorial whisper, a secret shared between the hunter and the hunted. Alex's home, their sanctuary, was no longer safe. Every shadow seemed to stretch and twist, every creak of the old house sounding like a deliberate footstep. The silence was no longer empty, it was heavy, filled with a watchful, waiting presence. Alex stood paralyzed for what felt like an eternity, caught between the instinct to run and the fear of making a single sound. The thought of moving, of drawing attention to themselves, was horrifying. What would happen if they screamed? What would happen if they tried to leave? The voice had come from above, from the ceiling. Was it in the attic? Inside the walls? Possibilities were endless, and each one was more terrifying than the last. The source of the voice remained unseen, which only amplified the terror. The unknown is always the most frightening enemy. This story, whether a brilliantly crafted piece of fiction or a genuine account of a terrifying experience, taps into one of our most fundamental fears, the invasion of our personal space. Our homes are supposed to be the one place in the world where we can let our guard down, where we are protected from the dangers outside. The idea that something malevolent could already be inside, hiding in plain sight, Waiting for us to be at our most vulnerable is a deeply disturbing concept. Think about it. The subtle sounds of your home are part of its identity. You become so accustomed to them that you only notice when they're gone. And in that sudden, unexpected silence, your senses are heightened. You become acutely aware of your surroundings and your own solitude. This story plays on that perfectly. The sudden stop of all ambient noise is the first signal that the rules have changed, that the normal world has been suspended. It's a classic horror trope, but it's effective because it's so relatable. Then comes the whisper. Not anymore. It's a direct response, a confirmation of the fear that's just beginning to dawn. It's intelligent. It's malicious. It implies that the entity has been there all along, listening, observing. It had the power to silence the entire house, demonstrating a level of control that is beyond human comprehension. This isn't just a simple intruder. This is something paranormal, something that operates outside the laws of our reality. It's the ultimate violation. Let's analyze the psychology behind why this is so scary. First, the sense of isolation. Alex is alone, which automatically makes them more vulnerable. Second, the breach of sanctuary. Pet isn't outside knocking on the door, it's already inside in the very structure of the house. There is no escape. Third, the unseen enemy. The monster we can't see is always scarier than the one we can because our imagination fills in the blanks with our own worst fears. Is it a ghost, a demon, something else entirely? The ambiguity is what makes it so terrifying. The story leaves us hanging, which is part of its brilliance. We don't know what happened to Alex. Did they run? Did they hide? Did they confront the entity? We are left alone with the same terror Alex felt, our minds racing to fill in the conclusion. It forces us to put ourselves in their shoes, to imagine what we would do in that situation. Would you be brave, or would you be frozen in fear, just like Alex? It's a chilling thought experiment. This type of short, viral horror story has become incredibly popular for a reason. It's concise, it's impactful, and it preys on common fears in a very direct way. It doesn't need complex lore or elaborate backstories. All it needs is a relatable situation, a sudden break from reality, and a single terrifying line of dialogue to send shivers down your spine. It's a perfect modern campfire story for the digital age. So, the next time you're home alone, enjoying the quiet, and you happen to mention it to someone, maybe pause for a second. Listen to the hum of your fridge, the tick of your clock, and just hope that they don't suddenly stop. Because if they do, you might hear a whisper from the ceiling reminding you that you're not as alone as you think. What do you guys think? Could this have really happened? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.